Hi, I'm Gary Sutton, and I'm with Joel Sears, president of the York County Taxpayers Council. Joel, good morning, and we wanted to kind of continue on the same path as we were talking about last week. So give us a quick review and then bring us back up to date on what we've got to talk about when it comes to taxpayer money and the governor's proposals right now in the brand-new budget.
Well, thank you, Gary. Good morning. Yeah, we talked last week about a meeting that the governor had with Nathan Maines, the CEO of the Pennsylvania School Boards Association.
Right.
And just to put a little recap on that, I think it was essentially it was targeted to school board members and probably didn't get very much play. And I think for that reason, the governor really wasn't that well prepared to deal with the specifics. Now, obviously, the budget is on everybody's mind right now. You can feel it in the air, right?
Right. Yeah.
As I say with my tongue firmly planted in my cheek. But frankly, we should be. One of the things the governor talks about is the amount of money that's been added to the budget since he took office for the purpose of education. $825 million in the basic education subsidy, which is the primary chunk that the legislature allocates to K-12 education.
Mm-hmm.
That's not insignificant, and that's an amount of money that's being distributed according to something called the Fair Funding Formula. And that supposedly makes up for the years, the decades actually, of funding that was done under what was called the Hold Harmless formula.
Okay.
That piece is still in place. That's about $6 billion of the total. So slightly under $1 billion now is being distributed according to what is called the Fair Funding Formula. In any case, the discussion last week dealt with some characterizations of charter schools and charter school costs. And where we left off, we were going to talk about a specific case, and this is one that caused the governor to do part of his address in Allentown because of the distress that they seem to be feeling relative to charter schools in their district. Their total budget is a staggering $341.8 million. That's a lot of money, Gary.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
They have a total of 22.2 thousand, so 22,200 kids in their system. That's total. That includes kids in the traditional and the charter schools. If you just use those two gross numbers, the allocation is roughly $15,400 per student.
Good grief.
Right about the state average.
Yeah.
If you look at the charter expense, and this is what really got the governor fired up, Allentown is now spending $60 million of that $340 on charter schools. Big chunk.
Yeah.
But it also means that several kids are being affected by that. In their case, 5,200. That means that the average allocation per student in the charter system is 11,500.
So that's far below the average,
Yeah, that's exactly what was supposed to happen when charter schools were formed initially, and that's because the allocation of funds is based on the home district's cost minus several fixed costs.
Mm-hmm.
So if we see that the average, taking into account all the kids, is 15,400, and the allocation for charters is 11,500, then at least that piece of the theory seems to be holding up. And that tends to happen when you have large numbers of students leave a system, a traditional system, to attend a charter. If only a few leave, it's almost impossible for economies to set in. You don't have 5 kids go to a charter school and, as a result, close a classroom.
Right.
They don't tend to come from the same class. It's very difficult. But with 5,200, you can close schools.
So, Joel, kind of a summary on this morning of where we stand with this to date. And is it working? Is it not working? And where's the governor going to be on this in the long run?
Gary, in general, it's not working. You said last week, and you were 100% correct, that there are charters that are successful. It turns out that if you look at PSSA scores, for example, the highest performing school in the state now is a charter school. But it's a very selective school. In general, they're not working in Pennsylvania. The choice that's being offered is generally, I guess you'd call it the Hobson's choice.
Okay.
The choice between two bad systems. Which one's worse? You know, you talk about lesser of evils. This is the evil of lessers.
Yeah, right.
And it just, I think that the bottom line on this is that the legislature has got to take a good hard look at the funding, and they also have to look at the big P word, the performance word. If these charters are not performing, they need to be closed. But equally seriously is public schools that don't perform.
Yeah.
And that's the dilemma.
And that is where we stand right now.
We're not uplifting, we're bringing people down to the lower common denominator, and that's distressing.
Joel Sears, president of the York County Taxpayers Council, always looking for accountability. Joel, thanks for the good insights this morning. We look forward to next week with you.
Thanks, Gary.
And don't forget, you can also hear us on News Talk 93.9 and 910 WSBA, WSBA Morning News, weekdays 6 to 9.